Okay, here is our quick demonstration of paint.net. Now, we have our layer. We have a new layer. See, but if I turn this layer off, can't see anything, right? Because I don't see anything. I turn that layer off, nothing at all. But I still have these marching ants, which is a problem because if I start typing outside the marching ants, I can't see it. But if I start typing inside the marching ants, well, I still can't see that either. I have to turn it on. See that? I have to turn your layers on, I have to turn your layers off. Now when I turn this layer back on, I will have my text. Note, since I have the double-handled, or the triple-handled, the quadruple-handled cursor, I can move it all the way around. See that? If I move it outside of the frame, you can't see it. See that? If I move it up and down outside of that frame, I can't see it. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind.
So is this a big program?
Yes, it is. So we've created a new layer and we've added text. If you hit Control D, you will turn off the marching ants, and you should be able to move again. If you Control A, be able to move your in that frame. Select the whole thing. See the whole thing? How everything's selected in that frame. Now, just like we were able to change the size, of this, of those pictures, we can change the size of our text layer. Control A, and shrink it. Oh, very small. We make it large. We should also be able to change the font size in real time. That happens. Didn't work. But we could try with a new layer again. It's always safe to go with a new layer. If you want to increase the font size, type your new font size, pick your color. I'm going with red. Choose your font and begin typing. Now we should be able to change our font size in real time. Yes, we can here. See how it's changing, how it's getting larger. We can also change the font type in real time as well.
So
Arial black. So there we are. We're playing with our text. We can move it around by using the double arrow. Let's go take a look at all of our text. And again, we can see what we want. Backspace, and we'll give it a title. We'll say the Old Fogey Society. That's not very polite, but it's funny nonetheless. Okay, Old Fogey Society. Now, what happens? I can't center it because they're way off the edge. I want to center it. So I center my text, I turn off everything else I don't need, and I turn off that layer. I click on the background, Control A, and now I can center, by using the Move Selection tool, center my photo. Just like that. Okay? Now see what's happening? I'm getting a bunch of transparency. So let's go ahead and select just the area we want. I'm going to Control D to deselect everything. Again, I'm still on the background. I've deselected everything. There's no marching ants. I use the rectangular selection tool. Click on that. Click. Drag. And I select my picture. Just a little bit of it, right like that. You see the marching ants again? Now Control I to invert that selection, and Control D to delete. And now I have just the picture and the text that I want. Okay, again, how to add text. Let's click on the Add New Layer. We're going to add a new layer. It's always safer to add a new layer. We're going to put some more text. Let's give this guy a name here. So I click on the text tool. I click anywhere on the screen, and I can begin typing. Now I've got it set to 48. I'll drop that down to like 28. And we'll say this is Uncle Bob. Okay, there's Uncle Bob. Now Uncle Bob, that text is too big still. So let's shrink down the font to like 20. That's still too big. Down to 18. That's getting close. Let's try 14. Okay, Uncle Bob. There he is. Now that's on a separate layer. If I go ahead and Control D that, I show this picture to my mom and she says, "Denny, that's not Uncle Bob. This is Uncle Bob. So I go back to my layer, turn my layers, figure out where's Uncle Bob. Uncle Bob's there. Okay, so I turn my background back on, turn on my text tool, Control A to select one layer, move Uncle Bob right. Oh, I can move the title Uncle Bob right on top of that. Now I've correctly labeled Uncle Bob. Again, it's on a separate layer, so if I have separate layers, I can rename them as much as I want. Okay, now that we have Uncle Bob correctly labeled, let's have some fun with their faces. We'll create a new layer. We'll turn off every other layer except for the background, and we're going to copy this face. Now I'm going to zoom in, Control K, Control K. There she is. Now I'm going to use my selection tool, which is the circle tool. I'm not holding down anything. I just want to get a vignette of her face. I move the selection around a little bit. I shrink or make it large, shrink, make it large, whatever. Make that a little larger like that. Okay. Select someone's face. Then copy it. Go up to the layer 5, turn off the background actually, and now when we paste, we should have got Control C, and we go to layer 5, turn that off, turn on layer 5, and Control V. There it is. Okay, so I've copied part of this onto part of this picture here, copied onto this picture here. Now, the fun part begins when you start moving them around. Now I'm not going to affect my original image. See the original? It's still fine. When I click on layer 5, there's her floating head. Now, turn the background back on, and let's move it and create a twin. Okay?
That's how they play with images.
I've created her twin.
But I think some really professional.
Now she's holding her head. Now this one's actually not bad because you can match the grain a little bit.
Yeah.
Now she's holding her head. How cool is that, huh? So, easy enough to do to create, to move images around if you're working, again, on separate layers. Layers is very important, people. Use them.
I don't have the layer button thing.
F7. That's a quick demonstration right there on how to move images around on your move different layers around, move different images around on a using paint.net. Thank you very much and happy computing.